Hello, Braves fans, and welcome to Indian Hill High School, where the Indian Hill Braves get set to take on the Deer Park Wildcats tonight in Indian Hill's home gymnasium. Hi, I'm Steve Rieger alongside Andrew Burgess, and we'll be bringing you the game right here on the Indian Hill Television Network. Tip controlled early by the Braves. Eric Shaw passes off quickly to Brandon Miller. Back out to Madden at the top of the key. Stephen Buddig and Madden trade off at the top of the key. Deer Park sets up early in a 2-3 zone defense as the Braves are probing it on the perimeter. Trying to get the ball inside to Nolte, who's double teamed at the bottom of the zone. Shaw dumps into Miller. Miller takes the first shot. Nolte with the rebound, and Braves lead 2-0. Jared Armstrong brings the ball up for the Wildcats, dribbles between the circle. Passes off to Kyle Mason. And just like that, Deer Park turns the ball over. Ball back over to the Braves on the out-of-bounds play.
And it's already set to be a close game tonight. The Braves lost at Deer Park's home court. And
that's right. Braves will be looking for revenge tonight.
Oh, yes.
Phil Madden and Stephen Buddig testing the top of that zone. Still trying to get the ball in low to Nolte. Buddig drives, Buddig shoots. Nolte there with the rebound. And he's got another bucket and the foul.
And one.
And very early on, the Braves had very little difficulty getting the ball into Nolte down to the baseline.
That's right. He's going to be a very key player in this game tonight.
Against this smaller Deer Park lineup, Nolte should be able to get double digits in points and rebounds.
Definitely.
This is on the free throw, tapped out to Nolte, and we reset back to Buddig. Miller looking, Miller drives, dishes to Nolte. Nolte shot. Miller with the rebound. Braves another offensive rebound. Ball back out to Buddig. Back into Nolte. Dribbles once, dribbles twice, shot no good. Finally, Deer Park brings down the rebound. Kyle Mason bringing the ball up. Passes off to Eric Ayers. Ayers drives baseline, dishes out. Top of the key. George Evans shoots, misses. And a foul on the baseline against Deer Park.
And as you can see so far, it's been a very aggressive game. It's going to set it to be very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see the game at Deer Park, but very early on, it's hard to believe that this Deer Park team was able to beat the Braves.
Yeah. It's a very close game.
Once again, the Braves testing that 2-3 zone. Interesting to see how long Deer Park sticks with it. Brandon Miller down low, passes off to Buddig. Buddig into Nolte, back to Miller for 3 points. Way long, Eric Shaw with the offensive rebound. Ball tipped out of bounds.
It's a good call by the ref.
Yeah, looks like it will remain with the Braves as number 34, Kyle Mason, pleads for a foul. There was no contact. Ball into Miller, easy drive, layup. Braves lead 6-0. Kyle Mason brings the ball across the timeline for Deer Park. Indian Hill in a basic man-to-man defense. Mason passes off to Evans, Evans back to Mason. Johnny Gronnett with the miss at the other end. And the ball is forced out of bounds by Deer Park, Jared Armstrong. Braves will get the ball back. Brandon Miller to inbound.
For the Wildcats into the game, number 43, Chad O'Reilly.
Checking into the game for Deer Park, Chad O'Reilly. O'Reilly replacing George Evans as Deer Park is trying to get a little bit bigger to contend with Will Nolte and Eric Shaw. Buddig to Miller, Miller to Buddig. Buddig to Madden, Madden takes the three and misses. Another offensive rebound for Nolte, and Nolte's short on the putback attempt. Braves still lead 6-0 here in the early going. Kyle Mason passes off to Armstrong. Armstrong off to Ayers. Ayers surveys the defense. Doesn't like what he sees. Dribbles to the top of the key. Finds nothing. Passes off to Maurice Brown. Brown drives. And Brown is fouled by Will Nolte. Looks like Deer Park's going to try and exploit the matchup of Brown versus Nolte down low.
And they're going to have to if they really want to contend with it. They need to match up the heights.
2 shots.
That'll send Maurice Brown to the line, shooting 2, trying to get Deer Park on the board for the first time tonight. Lines up his shot, and he's good. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
In the game for the Braves, number 23, John Beatty, replacing Stephen Buddick.
Beatty checks in for the Braves, replacing Stephen Buddick.
1 shot.
And Brown is good on both. Deer Park's on the board, and the Braves lead 6-2 as Eric Shaw will inbound for the Braves. And apparently we have a conversation going on at the scorer's table as the
Just
head
verifying
official.
The time on the board is correct, the score is correct, and notice the fouls.
The head official is checking to make sure the score, time, and fouls are correct. Apparently they are, and we appear to be good to go. There are 2 fouls on the visiting Deer Park Wildcats, 1 on the Braves, as Shaw inbounds to Madden. Madden dribbles across the timeline. Once again, Deer Park sitting up in a 2-3 zone. Madden off to Beatty, Beatty back to Madden, Madden to Beatty. Miller nearly turns the ball over the timeline. This is to Shaw. Shaw dribbles baseline. Pump fake. Nolte scramble for the ball. Deer Park comes out of it. Pushing the ball up, George Evans. Evans baseline, and Evans was fouled. Looks like they're going to call a foul.
Deer Park.
Foul on 23, John Beatty, his
That
third.
foul is on Beatty. He got the block down on the baseline. Team fouls now even at 2.
For the Braves into the game, number 33, John Wolfenden, replacing Eric Shaw.
John Wolfenden checks into the game, replacing Shaw. Give him a breather. Deer Park inbounds to Brown. Brown passes off to Evans. Ayers has the ball.
34,
Kyle Mason with the running one-hander. Just like that, Deer Park is back 6-4. Trying to get the ball into Nolte, testing the perimeter defense. Madden pass off to Beatty. Beatty drives baseline. Pump fake, no good. Nolte not there for the rebound. As Chad O'Reilly pulls down his first board of the game. O'Reilly calling for the ball. And looks like they've got number 32, Brandon Miller, on the foul.
Foul is on 33, John Wolfenden, his first, the team third.
Chad O'Reilly again demanding the ball down to the baseline. He's trying to get big down there, get some interior offense going for Deer Park. Ball rotates back out to Armstrong. Armstrong gives to Mason. And Mason back to Ayers. Ayers back to Armstrong. Armstrong back to Mason. Mason dribbling at the top of the key, gives off to Riley.
Number 43.
And just like that, number 43, Chad O'Reilly, has Deer Park back. The Wildcats are on a 6-0 run. Miller tries to line up his shot. Ball will stay with the Braves on the out of bounds. And just like that, the Braves came out to a hot start. Now they cannot buy a bucket. And looks like the Braves are trying to do a late substitution as number 24, Stephen Buddick, will come in for Miller. Miller has not done anything offensively so far tonight. Phil Madden has the ball at the top of the key, and Deer Park is staying in that 2-3 zone. They have not come out of it yet. Ball up to Nolte. That's not where they want Nolte to have the ball at the top of the key. And another turnover on Indian Hill. And number 4, Jared Armstrong takes it down, misses an open layup. Number 22, Eric Ayers, misses an easy shot. Braves pushing it back. Deer Park not set in their zone. Number 12, Phil Madden tried a shot and missed. Indian Hill with the offensive rebound. Deer Park with the foul.
Fouls on 34, Kyle Mason. His
So
first.
far, Andrew, this has been a tale of 2 parts of the half. Indian Hill coming out to a 6-0 lead. Now Deer Park back 6-0.
Will Nolte.
Just like that, Will Nolte with the nice soft touch. Indian Hill leads 8-6. Kyle Mason with the long-range shot, no good. Number 23, John Beatty with the rebound. Pushes it up to Madden. Madden surveys the defense. Back to Beatty. Beatty back to Madden. Madden to Buddick. Buddick back to Madden. Buddick surveys the defense. Passes off to Wolfenden. Wolfenden looking for a shot, nothing there. Down low in the corner, back out to Nolte. Nolte's fouled, no call, pick up his dribble. 18-foot shot won't go. Deer Park pushes back the other direction. Number 22, Eric Ayers surveys the defense. Jared Armstrong with a move down to the baseline.
Foul is on 12, Phil Madden.
And Mr. Rieger, you can tell how much Will Nolte's going to be a factor in this game because he has 6 of the 8 Indian Hill points at this time.
Eric Shaw.
Absolutely. Will Nolte checking out right now to get a blow. Nolte and Madden check out, bringing Miller and Shaw back in. It's not been a very pretty game so far, as there have been a lot of missed shots by both teams.
Yeah.
And another turnover by Deer Park, no. Eric Ayers with the save. Back to George Evans. Ball rotates back out to Kyle Mason. Oh, and a silly foul. Jared Armstrong lined up to take a three-point shot, and number 33, John Wolfenden, fouled him shooting a three. He will go to the line to shoot three. Absolutely silly foul by John Wolfenden. That shot had about as much chance of going in as if I shot it from the table.
It seems at this point Deer Park's really just trying to get the ball moved around the court to find a hole in the Braves defense to get a shot off.
Absolutely. And so far the hole they're finding is down low on the baseline.
Yeah.
Jared Armstrong good on the first two. He's got Deer Park back even. If he makes his third free throw to give Deer Park their first lead of the night at 9-8. And he's good on all three. After trailing 6-0, Deer Park has come back, leads 9-8 as Brandon Miller brings the ball back down for the Braves. Back out to Stephen Buddick. Buddick Miller, Miller to Shaw. Shaw has the ball slapped away. Back out to Buddick, nearly crosses the timeline with it. Ball back into Miller, Miller to Buddick. Buddick penetrates, dishes off to Beatty. Beatty to Buddick, Buddick for three, no. Yes, it does go. Looked like that ball got tipped and he had just enough to get it in. Stephen Buddick with a three gives Indian Hill an 11-9 lead. And once again, the Indian Hill defense is out of position. Fortunately, they get away with it as number 23, John Beatty, brings down the defensive rebound.
Brandon Miller.
This is off to number 32, Brandon Miller. Miller good with the layup. Braves lead 13-9. Deer Park needs to be thinking about a timeout. Number 4, Jared Armstrong surveys the defense. Braves staying a man-to-man. Pass off to O'Reilly, wide open. Misses the easy layup. Shaw with the rebound. Miller out to Beatty. Beatty with a 12-footer, and he's good. The Braves are on a roll.
Deer Park really can't be missing easy shots like that if they want to stay in this game.
Absolutely not. Braves are on a 7-0 run and playing inspired defense. Once again, another missed shot by Deer Park. Ball quickly out to Beatty. Beatty to Buddick. And the shot won't go. Oh, my goodness. Traveling called on Stephen Buddick. I thought we had a foul down low.
And that's what Deer Park needs to change the momentum of their offense at this point, is a foul like that.
And it looks like the Braves are starting to pick up in half-court trap. Little token pressure. Number 24, Stephen Buddick hounds the ball. Jared Armstrong surveys the defense. Passes off to Kyle Mason. Mason shot, good. And that's the end of the first quarter with the score of the Indian Hill Braves 15, Deer Park 11.
Coverage of tonight's game on the Indian Hill Television Network is a presentation of the Indian Hill High School Video Department. The Video Department provides the community with educational and school-focused programming through the facilities of the ICRC.
No, you're fine. Well, what started as a sloppy opening to the first quarter turned into a nice little offensive outburst for both teams there at the end of the quarter.
That's right.
And as you indicated early, Andrew, this game is ripe for Will Nolte to absolutely take it over. He could end the game with a triple-double, points, rebounds, and blocks. It's just a matter of him keeping his wind enough to stay in the game for long enough periods of time.
That's right. And he may need to do that in order for Indian Hill to win this game.
And it looks like Nolte got a nice blow at the end of the first quarter, so he's going to check back in. the start of the second quarter here as Beatty checks back out. Deer Park to inbound on the near side. Eric Ayers crosses the timeline. Brandon Miller keeping a hand in his face, picks up the dribble. Passes out to Maurice Brown. Brown back to Armstrong. Armstrong to Ayers. Ayers holds the ball above his head. Looking for a play, screen set by Mason. Ayers passes off. Armstrong to Brown. Brown dishes out, three-point shot, no good. Nolte almost tips it back in the wrong way. And finally, number 4, Stephen Budding comes down with the defensive rebound. Ball out to Miller, Miller into Nolte, quadruple teamed. Will Nolte just shot that over 4 Deer Park defenders and cleared all 4 of them out on the attempt. My goodness. Well, it looks like Nolte needs a blow again already.
Yeah.
Cal Mason passes off. Armstrong to Brown. Brown back out to Mason. Mason surveys the defense, doesn't like what he sees. Eric Ayers drives baseline, shot counts, and the foul. Number 22, Eric Ayers looking to convert the old-fashioned three-point play to bring the Wildcats, right back into the game. Checking back into the game, number 43, Chad O'Reilly, the biggest threat the Wildcats have to stopping Will Nolte. Ayers for 1, and he's good. I don't think Deer Park's missed a free throw yet.
I don't think they have either.
They're 6 for 6. It's what's keeping them in the game right now.
And that's what's going to help them out a lot once the Braves get into foul trouble.
Absolutely. And Braves in some early foul trouble. They've already committed 6. And we're there early going here in the second quarter. One more, Deer Park's in the bonus the rest of the way. Jared Armstrong off to Brown. Brown for a long shot, well out of his range. And that's got to be about the 8th defensive rebound pulled down by Brandon Miller. Puts up a shot, drew the foul. Very nice job of driving the lane, getting the Deer Park defense to commit, and then drawing the foul. Foul's on number 22, Eric Ayers. That's his second. It'd be nice if the Wildcats got in a little foul trouble themselves. And Miller to the line to shoot 2. Good on the first. Ty Snow checks into the Braves. He'll give Stephen Budding a quick spell. Snow and Wolfenden exchange places. Miller gets to line up his second shot. And he's perfect. Armstrong inbounds to Ayers. Again, the Braves picking up in a little bit of pressure defense. Nolte up, trying to half-court trap, backs out of it now. The ball is out to Jared Armstrong. Braves continue to lead 19-14 as Nolte's dribbling down, brings the ball down, passes off, gets the ball back on the rebound, misses an open shot. And just like that, Deer Park turns it over. Braves will get the ball back, leading 19-14. We've got under 6 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Braves jumped out to an early 6-0 lead. Deer Park countered with an 8-0 run of their own. The teams have essentially traded baskets since. Brandon Miller looks to inbound, looking for Nolte. Nolte's not open. Nolte looks winded. Pass out to Madden. That takes a long shot, rims out. Nolte another offensive rebound. Back to Miller. Miller drains the 12-foot shot. Braves really have the inside-outside combination working very nicely tonight.
Yes, they do.
O'Reilly calling for the ball at the top of the key. Has nowhere to go with it. Passes out to Jared Armstrong. Dribbles to the top of the key by Nolte. Out to Evans. Evans back to O'Reilly. O'Reilly has nowhere to go with it. Back out to Armstrong. And the ball goes into number 3, Maurice Brown, who promptly travels with it. Yet another turnover for Deer Park. That's got to be their 6th so far. Phil Madden brings the ball across the timeline. Braves leading 21-14 with the ball. 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Wolfenden off to Miller. Miller out to Snow. Snow doesn't find what he likes. Ball to Wolfenden, into Nolte. Nolte's going to pop back out to Snow. Nice rotation down to Madden. Madden, the 8-foot jump shot will not go. And we have a call down low. And apparently have a clear out on the Braves. Not sure who that foul was against. That's Nolte. That's his second. He may come out of the game. That's 7 on the Braves, meaning Deer Park is shooting 1-1 the rest of the way. And as you mentioned earlier, Andrew, the Braves are getting themselves into early foul trouble.
That's right. And as you could see in that last play when they threw the ball at Nolte, all the Deer Park players are going right at him. So their coaches promptly told them that he's a big factor in this game. They need to control him. And that's what they're going to try to do.
Absolutely right. Deer Park hasn't missed a free throw yet. Chad O'Reilly lines up another, and he misses for the first time tonight. Ty Snow with the defensive rebound, brings the ball across half court, out to Phil Madden. Madden down to Miller, nothing in the corner. Miller to Madden, Madden to Snow, Snow to Wolfenden, to Miller, back to Madden. Madden lines up a three-point shot and drains it. That gives the Braves their largest lead of the night. They lead by 10, 24-14. 4.5 minutes to go second quarter. Deer Park brings the ball down. Armstrong drives baseline, gets Ty Snow, shoots, misses. And ball back out to the Braves. And looks like we've got a timeout. Not sure who called it yet. Timeout, Deer Park.
It's a new era of Braves basketball on the Indian Hill Television Network, so be sure to catch all the boys and girls action on this community access channel. For playback times in your local area, call the ICRC at 772-4272 or visit their website at www.icrctv.org.
And just a reminder, Braves fans, this is in fact homecoming. Sure to have lots of festivities at halftime. I don't know that we'll be bringing those to you, but it should make for an exciting, loud, and raucous crowd in the second half as we have a fashionably late arriving homecoming crowd here at Indian Hill this evening. Just been informed that we will not be bringing you the halftime homecoming festivities. But we're sure to be updating you in the second half on everything that went on while we were away at halftime. Back to action here as Indian Hill set to inbound, leading 24-14, little under 4.5 minutes to go in the second half. Deer Park stays in that 2-3 zone that has not done very much for them so far this evening. Ball into Snow, Snow down to Miller. Miller has the ball stripped from him, back to Nolte. Nolte back to Miller, lines up a three, fakes, shoots. Short, and O'Reilly with the rebound for Deer Park. O'Reilly out to Mason, Mason across the timeline. Mason drives on Miller, Miller screen, ball out to Armstrong. Armstrong with the ball in low to Mason. Mason out to Brown, Brown traveled on his last attempt. Brown travels again, no call. Misses the shot, and the ball is ripped away by number 33, John Wolfenden for the Braves. Another turnover, ball back to Deer Park. Jared Armstrong surveys the defense, pressured by Stephen Buddick. Passes off to George Evans. Evans loses the ball. Kyle Mason with the pickup. His dribble's still alive. Ball into Brown. Brown against Nolte, drives, and misses yet another 4-foot shot.
And that's twice he's missed under the hoop tonight. Deer Park just can't be missing those shots if they want to stay in the game.
I think Brown is just simply intimidated by the presence of Will Nolte down low. He's expecting that shot to be blocked every time. And even if it's not blocked, he's missing the wide open looks.
That's right.
At the other end, Nolte with another easy putback. We're at 3 minutes to go. Another turnover for Deer Park. Braves hold a 26-14 lead and the ball.
Brown was definitely not expecting that pass, and that's why he did not receive it.
Yeah, Will Nolte is definitely in the head of Maurice Brown so far this evening. Ball back to Snow, Snow to Wolfenden. Wolfenden pops into Miller. Give and go. Ball back out to Buddick. Buddick for three, it's going to be short. Rebound by number 43, O'Reilly for Deer Park. That's got to be his 6th or 7th defensive rebound. Armstrong with the ball into O'Reilly. O'Reilly dribbles once, pops back out to Mason. Mason dribbles at the top of the key. Little 12-foot shot, good. Miller has the ball outside, dribbles to the top of the key. Looking to pop it into Nolte. That's out to Buddick. Buddick to Snow. Snow, a little shot deflected out of bounds off Deer Park. And the officials do in fact get the call correct. And we've got mass substitutions for Indian Hill. We've got number 12, Phil Madden. And number 45, Eric Shaw. As well as number 30, Jamison Rolls, checking for this time. Rolls promptly turns it over to Deer Park as Eric Ayers drives, makes the basket, and will get the foul.
And it's not a mistake that Indian Hill wanted to make, is throwing the ball into the wrong team.
No, especially if you're Jamison Rolls, you just checked into the game. Your only responsibility is inbound the ball, and you promptly pass it off to a Deer Park defender.
That's right.
And that's going to result in 3 points at the other end because Deer Park has missed but one free throw the entire evening. Ayers at the line shooting one, and there's their second miss. Defensive rebound, Eric Shaw. Shaw out to Madden. Madden sets up his offense, gets what he likes to Buddick. Buddick back to Madden. Madden out to Wolfenden. Wolfenden, Madden. Madden to Buddick, back to Madden. Buddick backs it out and will reset. Nolte's not in right now. They're unable to get the ball in low to Shaw as he is outsized by O'Reilly and Brown down low. Wolfen with the ball, top of the key. Down in the corner, Jamison Rolls. Rotates back out to Madden. Madden to Buddick, picks up his dribble, passes back off to Madden. Kick back out, rotate over to Jamison, rolls for three, and he's long. Rebound, Maurice Brown. Ball's back into Kyle Mason. Mason outside the key, sets up. And number 22, Eric Ayers drains a three. Don't look now, Braves fans, but Deer Park is right back in this ball game. They trail 26-21 with a little over a minute to go in the second quarter of this homecoming game.
That's right. That was a big momentum creator that he just made them.
Huge shot for Deer Park. And Buddick to Rolls nearly loses it out of bounds down to Wolfenden. He's trapped in the corner. Wolfenden to Shaw. And Shaw is fouled. Fouls on number 43, Chad O'Reilly.
Foul is on 23, George Evans, his first.
I'm sorry, the foul is on George Evans, his first. Would have rather had it on O'Reilly as he's been a bigger threat down low. And just like that, Jamison Rolls checks back out as Brandon Miller checks back into the game. Calls for the ball in the low wing. It looks like the Braves are content to run some clock here. Try and go into the half with this lead. And number 23, George Evans, having nothing to do with it. Tries to put a little pressure on, force Madden to give the ball up. Looks like the Braves are trying to hold for one shot here. We're down to 30 seconds to go. Second quarter, Braves lead 26-21. Ball into Buddick. Buddick dribbles past three defenders, out to Wolfenden. Wolfenden, Madden. Madden out to Miller. Back to Madden. Less than 20 seconds to go as the Braves are playing keep away at the top of the key. And the Braves call a timeout with 12 seconds to go, second quarter.
The producer and director of tonight's game on the Indian Hill Television Network is Andrew Wiebold, and our coordinating producer is Mr. Dennis Dubs. All video department games are produced in association with the ICRC.
Go to the end of the floor near the American flag.
All yours, Andrew.
And our graphics coordinator is Spence Kagi tonight, who's been doing an excellent job with the scoring bug. And we thank him for that.
Into the game for Deer Park, number 4.
And to reset, the Braves are going to have the ball with a 5-point lead, 12 seconds to go. Trying to hold for the final shot. Braves came out to an early 6-0 lead, and the game has been played essentially even since that point. And Miller inbounds. Miller looks to Wolfenden, not there. Miller to Madden. Madden to Buddick. Buddick Shaw. Shaw was wide open at the baseline, dribbles it off his foot. Deer Park will get the ball back with 7 seconds to go.
That's definitely not what Indian Hill wanted to happen in this situation.
No, not when you don't even get a shot off.
Yeah.
Jared Armstrong trying to beat the clock, drives baseline. Shot, no. Brown rebound. Yes, it will count.
Indian Hill tried to hold for the last shot, and then the ball was tossed out of bounds. Deer Park did get the last shot despite Indian Hill's efforts.
Jared Armstrong missed his shot on the baseline. Maurice was there for the offensive rebound, put it back in, and just like that, we have a 26-23 halftime score as we head into the halftime.
That's the end of the first half of tonight's contest. At the end of the half, the score is Braves 26, Deer Park Wildcats 23. Stay tuned and we will see you after the break. Hill High School, I'm Andrew Burgess alongside Steve Rieger, bringing you the game right here on the Indian Hill Television Network. The score starting the second half is Braves 26, Deer Park Wildcats 23.
And right of the shoot, Indian Hill misses an early opportunity down low. Rebound out to George Evans.
Oh!
My goodness.
Huge rejection.
Brandon Miller with the rejection. I think he took out 3 small children with that play.
And the
Mercy.
cameraman.
I have seen enough to know I have seen too much.
Oh yeah, that was excellent.
Ball into O'Reilly. O'Reilly pops back out. Ayers surveys the defense, nothing there. Pops the ball back out to George Evans. Not sure about that call. It seemed that O'Reilly dribbled the ball off his foot, but Deer Park will get the ball back as number 34, Kyle Mason, will inbound. And that should have been an out-of-bounds play as the shot from Mason touched the top of the backboard. Deer Park maintains possession, and they'll kick it back out and reset their offense as George Evans passes off to Ayers. Ayers drives, baseline, shot over Nolte, no. O'Reilly rebound, no. Tip back out. Ball to George Evans, resets the offense. Ball into O'Reilly. O'Reilly by Nolte, and makes the layup. Just like that, Deer Park down 1. Score is 26-25 Indian Hill. We're a minute into the third quarter. Madden passes off to Miller. Miller pops it into Nolte. Nolte backs down O'Reilly. Shot no good. Rebound Nolte. Backs down O'Reilly. Shot good.
Nolte's really playing with the head in his game. With his head in the game.
With Nolte and Sean in the game at the same time, there's no way Deer Park can offset the size advantage.
That's right.
O'Reilly tries to back down Nolte. Shoots over top of it. Misses. Nolte with the rebound. And do we have a push on Nolte? Yes, we do, and that's going to be Nolte's third foul.
I'm not sure if I like that call.
Foul is on 32, Brandon Miller.
No, I take that back. The foul is on Brandon Miller, number 32. Nolte still with 2 fouls. O'Reilly at the top of the key. He's no threat from there. Passes off to Mason. Mason out to Ayers. Ayers off to Armstrong. Armstrong pops in. An inexcusable, a wide open Eric Ayers on the baseline. Brings Deer Park back to within 1. Phil Madden across half court. Madden to Miller. Miller gives it to Shaw. Shaw takes an ill-advised shot. Ball out of bounds at Deer Park. Deer Park will get the ball back with an opportunity to take their first lead of the second half. They trail 28-27. We are 2 minutes into the third quarter as George Evans brings the ball across half court. Evans to Mason. Mason surveys the defense. Indian Hill staying in a man-to-man as they have all evening. Evans into O'Reilly. O'Reilly out to Armstrong. Armstrong misses the 3. O'Reilly with the rebound. Ball loose right in front of us. And Eric Ayers comes out with it. And looks like we are going to have a foul on 32, Brandon Miller. That will be Miller's second team foul on Indian Hill. And Andrew, just like we started the first half, Indian Hill in early foul trouble.
That's right.
Evans inbounds the ball. Ball back to Evans now, receives it back from Ayers. Nolte with the steal. Ball off to Miller. Miller pushes ahead to Nolte for the running layup, and he misses point blank. Nolte with his own rebound. Shot does not count, but Nolte will go to the free throw line. He was fouled.
Foul is on number 3, Maurice Brown, his second.
The foul was on number 3, Maurice Brown. That's his second. First foul on Deer Park this half. Nolte's at the line shooting 2. Braves lead 28-27. We're 3 minutes into this third quarter. And we've got substitutions in for both teams as John Beatty and John Wolfenden check back in for Indian Hill. Stephen Buddick checking out. Nolte hits them both. The Braves lead 30-27. Deer Park inbounds. Braves with a little full court pressure now. Miller will stay with his man. The rest of the Braves back out of it. Miller with the steal. Ball out of bounds to the Braves. Miller will inbound, finds Wolfenden in the corner. Wolfenden to Nolte. Nolte backs down his opponent. Easy shot over Chad O'Reilly. That's like taking candy from a baby. Meanwhile, Mason for Deer Park over on the sidelines getting some medical attention. Nolte with the rebound, loses it, regains it, and is fouled. Nolte starting to play to the crowd a little bit.
Fouls on 23, George Evans.
Just trying to get the crowd into the game since there's such a big factor here in this sport.
In a big game for the Braves, this will make the difference between being 10-7 or 11-6.
Yes.
Nolte inbounds to Madden. Here comes the Braves offense. Deer Park stays in the 2-3 zone. Ball to Beatty. Beatty to Wolfenden. Wolfenden out of the corner, back to Beatty. Beatty to Wolfenden. Wolfenden to Miller in the corner. Back out to Beatty. Miller in the corner. Pass deflected. And ball will go out of bounds over to Deer Park.
For Deer Park,
Coach Jim Prue for the Braves begging for a clear out, but he's not going to get the call. George Evans checking out for Deer Park. And number 22, Eric Ayers, will bring the ball up. Nice screen set by O'Reilly. Excuse me, Maurice Brown with the screen. Mason back into the game, number 34. Miller has the ball down low. Passes out to Beatty. Beatty brings the ball in. Out to Madden. Madden with a 20-footer. No good. Rebound, Maurice Brown. Brown out to Armstrong. Armstrong is rejected by Phil Madden, but they're going to call a foul instead.
foul is on Phil Madden, number 12, his third, the team third.
That's the third foul on Madden, third team foul on the Braves.
Number 4,
And that will send number 4, Jared Armstrong, to the line shooting 2. Braves lead 32-27. And Armstrong gets the shooter's roll to first. That ball touched every part of the rim and backboard. The second one is clean.
for the Braves into the
Brings
game.
Deer Park right back into the game. Indian Hill leads 32-29. We're halfway through the third quarter. Stephen Buddick brings the ball in. Buddick to Miller. Miller back to Buddick. Top of the key. Ball rotates over to Beatty. Beatty to Wolfenden. Wolfenden to Miller. Miller drives the lane, shoots, and scores. Indian Hill leads 34-29. Armstrong drives the lane, passes out. And number 22, Eric Ayers, fumbles the ball out of bounds. Ball back to Deer Park, back to Indian Hill on the out of bounds. Wolfenden will inbound to Buddick. Buddick will bring the ball down, trying to set up the Braves offense, expand on this 5-point lead. Miller looks for 3, not there, drives baseline. Out to Wolfenden, out to Beatty, back into Wolfenden. Wolfenden shoots over 2 defenders. A skyhook a la Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Braves lead 36-29. Mason with the ball. Mason dribbles against Beatty and Wolfenden. Pops out to Ayers. Ayers drives. Ayers shoots. Ayers scores.
Eric Ayers.
Braves bring the ball back down. Brandon Miller. Out to John Beatty for three. Shot rims out. Rebound Deer Park. Will Nolte tries to steal it away. Not successful. Deer Park trails 36-31. 2.5 minutes to go, third quarter. Number 22, Eric Ayers, dribbles inside the lane. Braves an 18-foot shot. Braves lead 36-33. Brandon Miller eyes a three, not there. Into Nolte. Nolte double dribbles, no call. Turns the ball over to Jared Armstrong, number 4. There's a traveling call. Number 43, Chad O'Reilly, travels. Puts the ball back over to the Braves. Braves with the ball in a 3-point lead. 2 minutes to go in the quarter. Stephen Buddig brings the ball across the timeline for the Braves. Buddig to Miller. Ball down in the corner. It's John Wolfenden. Wolfenden kicks it back out to Beatty. Beatty looking for Shaw, not there. Brown with the turnover. And the call is... My goodness, there's not an official there that saw it. 3 officials on the court, not one saw it, and the ball is going to go back over to Deer Park on the alternate possession because there was not one official in position to make a very obvious and easy call that we can make here from the scores table. Absolutely inexcusable.
Obviously, the coach of the Braves is very upset by that call.
Coach Bruce got to be careful. He's got to pick up a technical foul here if he doesn't calm down. Mason with the ill-advised long pass over to Evans. Evans back to Armstrong. Armstrong to Evans. Evans clears out. It's a screen back to Armstrong.
It's the long passes like that that Deer Park have been making that they've dropped and the ball's gone out of bounds. They're trying to create a hole.
Ayers with the nifty pass to Armstrong. Armstrong taunting the Indian Hill crowd as Deer Park is close to within 1. And just like that, number 33, John Wolfenden with the answer at the other end. The baseline layup and the foul. Basket counts. Wolfenden will be at the line shooting 1.
Chad O'Reilly, his first, and team third. At the line, John Wolfenden, 1 shot.
Checking back into the game for the Braves, number 20, Ty Snow. 33, John Wolfenden at the line shooting 1. Braves lead by 3 with a little over a minute to go in the third quarter. Wolfenden's good. The lead is Indian Hill 39, Deer Park 35. Braves again with a little token pressure, this time applied by John Wolfenden. Evans clears it with no problem, passes out to Ayers. Ayers for 3, and he's good. Ayers playing to the crowd as it is now 39-38. Braves trail by 1. Snow looks for Miller, can't find him, into Shaw. Fouled on the floor, Eric Shaw picks up. Eric Shaw is fouled, no shot.
Fouls on number 3, Maurice Brown, his third, the team 4. Into the game, number 40.
It's the 4th foul on Deer Park. Braves not yet in the bonus. Braves with the ball leading by 1, less than a minute to go. Ball into Miller, Miller shoved, no call. Dug out of the corner by John Beatty. Beatty to Snow, Snow to Miller. Miller eyes the 3, not available. Miller looking for Snow. Dribbles out of the trap, back to Snow. Snow at the top of the key. Passes off to Miller, still trying to probe that defense. Miller shoots, 12-foot shot, no good. Rebound to O'Reilly. O'Reilly passes it right back to Brandon Miller. Miller's there with the layup. An absolute brain cramp on the part of O'Reilly. Deer Park back on offense. Ball in the hands of George Evans. Trailing by 3, 13 seconds to go, third quarter. Ball now in the hands of Eric Ayers. Ayers drives, Ayers shoots, Ayers misses. Rebound Deer Park. Out of bounds Indian Hill. Braves will get the ball back with 6 seconds to go, leading by 3.
Replacing Brandon Miller.
Ball into Madden. Madden dribbles across half court, 4 seconds to go. Off to Snow, Snow dribbles, Snow shoots. No good. Eric Shaw with the putback, no good. That's the end of 3 quarters. Indian Hill leads 41-38.
The Indian Hill Schools News Brief is produced every month in our studio. Each month, a different topic of school interest will be discussed. Your host, Zach Stewart, will provide in-depth views on what's happening in our schools. These programs may be seen right here on the ICRC. For playback times, visit www.icrc.org or call 772-ICRC or 772-4272.
And what's happening in our schools right now, Andrew, is the Braves are in a dogfight. They lead by 3. They've already lost once at Deer Park earlier this season. They're trying to pull out a home win tonight as we enter the fourth quarter. Braves leading 41-38.
That's right.
John Beatty set to inbound the ball for the Braves. He'll inbound to Phil Madden. Madden across half court. Surveys the 2-3 zone that Deer Park has stuck with all night long. Ball back to Madden. Madden to Buddig. Inside to Nolte. Nolte quadruple teamed again. Braves doing an excellent job of rotating the ball around the top of their perimeter. Nolte with another offensive rebound. No shot. And Nolte is called for the travel.
For the Braves, number 45, Eric Shaw. Replacing number 8.
Nolte's called for the travel when it looks like he was in fact fouled. Nonetheless, Deer Park gets the ball back. Number 34, Kyle Mason, inbounds to George Evans. Evans brings the ball across the timeline. Deer Park trailing by 3, 7.5 minutes to go. Turnover, Phil Madden races the ball down for Indian Hill. Layup, no good. Rebound, O'Reilly. Elbow, Shaw, no call. And there are an over and back call against George Evans as he crosses the timeline back and forth. And the referees apparently disagree on the call. Ball going back over to Deer Park. Indian Hill once again getting the short end of a call. Ball in the hands of Eric Ayers as he surveys the Braves man-to-man defense. Passes off to Evans. Ball's kicked out of bounds. Deer Park will maintain possession, trailing by 3, 7 minutes to go left fourth quarter. Evans inbounds. Mason drives, can't find anything. Kicks out to Ayers. Ayers drives, running one-hander, won't go. Rebound Madden. Madden clears, pushes the ball up from the Braves. Madden looking, finds Shaw. Shaw can't hang on to it. Ball back out to Brown. Brown to Armstrong. Armstrong dishes. Ball goes in the hands of George Evans, makes the layup. Indian Hill leads 41-40. We're under 7 minutes to go, fourth quarter. Ball's in the hands of Stephen Buddig. Buddig back out to Madden. Madden to Buddig. Buddig looks for the 3, not there. Passes out to Madden. Madden back to Beatty. Beatty down into the corner. John Wolfenden passes back to Beatty. Beatty looks for the 3. It's tipped. Wolfenden has the ball. Puts it down in the corner. Ball back out to Beatty. Over to Madden. Madden surveys the 2-3 zone. Can't find anyone open. Madden will bring it back up to the top. Ball's off to Buddig. Buddig drives the lane. Dishes. Finds an open John Wolfenden who makes the layup.
That was a very nice play by Indian Hill.
Textbook offense on the part of the Braves there. Once again, give themselves a 3-point lead with 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Ball's in the hands of number 22, Eric Ayers. Ayers off to Evans. Evans to Ayers. Ayers surveys the defense. Can't find anything he likes. Passes the ball into Brown. Brown demanding the ball again. Pushes off on Nolte. Nolte fouls Brown. Nolte nods, agreed with the call, realized he fouled Brown. That'll be Nolte's 3rd. Team's 4th.
Nolte, number 42, his 3rd. Team 4th. At the line, Curtis Brown.
That'll put number 3, Maurice Brown, on the line, shooting 2. He's good on the first. Checking back in for Deer Park, number 43, Chad O'Reilly. O'Reilly replaces Evans. Deer Park's going for a little more size with Mason, O'Reilly, Brown all in the game at the same time. Brown misses the second. Rebound O'Reilly, tipped out of his hands by Nolte. Ball's loose on the 4. Picked up by Stephen Buddick. Dribbles across the timeline as Indian Hill sets their offense. Eric Shaw, baseline layup, good. Braves lead 45-41. Timeout, Deer Park. Timeout.
Coverage of Braves basketball on the Indian Hill Television Network wouldn't be possible without the generous support of the Indian Hill Boosters, the PTO, and the ICRC. Their grants have provided us with the equipment to bring Indian Hill sports off of the field and into the community, and we appreciate all that they've done to develop our television program.
And the Braves cheerleaders are bringing this capacity Braves crowd to their feet, as it looks like we're going to have the scoreboards go dark, but we're back live. And it looks like we had a little power outage at the scorer's table. The game reset, Braves lead 45-41. We've got 5.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And what looks like it's going to come down to who has the ball last in this CHL matchup.
That's right, it's been a very aggressive second half.
Hey, ever since the Braves took that early 6-0 lead, essentially, the two teams have played very even since.
That's
Deer
right.
Park having a 1 bucket advantage from that point on. Possession arrow favors Deer Park. Deer Park also has the ball as number 34, Kyle Mason, will inbound. Inbounds to Armstrong. Armstrong back to Mason. Stephen Buddick with token pressure. Will Nolte tip to Madden. Madden's open for a layup. Back to Nolte. Nolte drives, misses. Nolte rebounds. Nolte shoots, misses. Eric Shaw, rebound. And Shaw walks. Coach Jim Prue disgusted with the call. Braves fans expressing their displeasure. As number 34, Kyle Mason, will inbound. Braves again setting up in a half-court trap. Nolte now backs out of it. Ball down in the corner to Brown. Brown dribbles. Brown looking for a shot. Brown kicks out to Armstrong. Armstrong looking back to Brown. Armstrong into Brown. Brown back out to Armstrong. Armstrong for 3. And it's long. Nolte with the rebound. And Armstrong with the foul.
Foul is on number 4, Jared Armstrong, his first, team 5th.
That's a 4th foul on Armstrong, 5th on Deer Park. Nolte will inbound for the Braves, who have a 4-point lead with under 5 to go here in the fourth quarter. Deer Park now in, it looks to be no, they're still in the 2-3 zone. Thought they'd gone to a 1-3-1. An unusual look, actually it looks like they're in a 3-2 zone now that they're matching up out of. Very unusual defense alignment. Madden tries to get the ball into Nolte, can't find him. Ball's tipped loose. Deer Park brings it back the other way. Eric Shaw with the steal. Shaw passes off to Miller. Miller resets, gets the ball in the hands of Stephen Buddick. We'll try again. Braves lead by 4, call timeout with 4:21 to go.
Let us know what you think of Braves basketball on the Indian Hill Television Network by calling our viewer feedback phone at 272-4509. Phone lines are open 24 hours a day, so give us a call and tell us how we're doing.
Waiting for the two teams to come out of their timeout. And looks like we've got the sideboards back up. We went a little dark there for a while. Indian Hill, when we come out of the timeout, will have a 4-point lead in the ball. The possession arrow going Deer Park's way as we're in the fourth quarter. Indian Hill set to inbound. Ball then to number 12, Phil Madden. Madden sets up the defense. And Deer Park in a very unusual zone. Ball goes into Nolte. Nolte fakes. Nolte pumps. Nolte's fouled. No call. Madden with the rebound. Madden puts it up. Madden's good. And we're back to the 6-point lead we started the game with, 47-41. Kyle Mason has the ball for Deer Park. Mason drives. Mason for a long three. Short. O'Reilly with the rebound, and O'Reilly is fouled. Number 12, Phil Madden, trying to settle down his troops, acting like a floor general, as a good point guard does. We are under 4 minutes. And number 43, Chad O'Reilly, is going back to the line. And Deer Park has been shooting lights out from the charity stripe so far this evening. O'Reilly for 2. Banks the first one in. I didn't know the Banks were open this late on a Friday night. But for Chad O'Reilly, they are. Number 33, John Wolfenden, checks back into the game as Eric Shaw checks out. Shaw still complaining about a call he did not get at the other end. If Deer Park loses this game tonight, they certainly cannot blame it on the officials, as they have gotten the benefit of several questionable calls. O'Reilly misses the free throw. We appear to have a lane violation against Deer Park. The ball will go over to the Braves. Number 33, John Wolfenden, inbounds to Madden. Madden will bring it across. Braves lead by 5, under 4 minutes to go. Madden sets the offense. Madden Goodbuddy. Ball stolen by number 22, Eric Ayers. Ayers travels, no call, passes to Brown. And number 3, Maurice Brown converts on the layup, cutting the lead to 3. Braves come back the other way. Ball in the hands of Brandon Miller, drives by 3 defenders. Ball goes into Wolfenden. And number 33, John Wolfenden, converts from the baseline.
That was nicely played by the Braves.
Seems like every time Deer Park claws back in it, the Braves get an easy bucket the other end. That's going to be an offensive foul as number 22, Eric Ayers, drives the baseline and plows over John Wolfenden.
And that's a good call by the refs. Finally one in the Braves' direction.
Braves now lead by 5, 3:17 to go. Both teams with 5 fouls, both teams approaching the bonus. This could turn into a free throw shooting contest down the stretch.
If it does come down to that, Deer Park is seeming they're going to be able to win, as they have missed nearly only 3 shots on the free throw line.
Madden and Betty laying catch at the top of the key, content not to take a shot till they have to. Clock winds under 3 minutes. And appears we now have an offensive foul on number 32, Brandon Miller. That will be his 3rd, team 6th. Both teams with 16 fouls now. Both teams will go into the bonus on the next foul. George Evans brings the ball across the timeline for Deer Park. Passes off to Ayers. Ayers looks down low to Brown. Brown brings it back out. Brown looking for a shot. Not there. And Brown travels. That call's been there most of the evening. It's good that the refs are finally picking up on it. And apparently the Deer Park fans do not know what traveling is, as they don't understand the call. It was in fact a double dribble. Timeout called by Deer Park. Full timeout. Well, Andrew, looks like we may have a barn burner yet. The Braves up 5 with less than 3 minutes to go, but this feisty Deer Park team will simply not go away.
That's right. Both teams have a lot in this game. The Braves want revenge, and the Deer Park Wildcats just want to extend their lead.
Well, you have to believe that the Braves are simply not going to lose to Deer Park a second time. Certainly not on their home court on homecoming night. The Braves certainly very motivated to come out of here with a win that would then put them at 11-6 and give them a modest 4-game winning streak in the CHL. The referees discussing that last call. Still not sure if it was a double dribble or a travel, or something from the Jackson 5. But whatever the call was, it was in fact a turnover. Ball goes over to the Braves. Number 33, John Wolfenden inbounds. Phil Madden content to slowly bring the ball across and run clock as the clock winds the 2.5-minute mark. Deer Park now comes out with immediate pressure. Ball passed down low. Nolte with the offensive rebound. No basket, fouls on the floor. Again, the Braves cannot get a call. No basket. Nolte fouled on the floor. Nolte will shoot 1 and 1, as that's the 7th team foul for Deer Park.
When this happens, you just need to calm yourself down, make your 2 points.
Will Nolte, 1 and 1.
Despite the fact that the foul was on the floor and the basket didn't count, Nolte should be shooting 2. He was in a shooting motion. Shoots the 1 and 1, and he's good on the first. That'll buy him another shot.
For the Braves, number 24, Stephen Budding, replacing John Wolfman. Will Nolte, 1 shot.
Braves lead by 6 as Nolte lines up the second shot. He's no good. Ball rebounded by Eric Ayers. Ayers to Evans. Evans to Mason. Mason into Brown. Brown dribbles. Nolte's there. No shot. Shoots anyway. No good. Gets his own rebound. Nolte battles for the ball. Outstanding play by number 12, Phil Madden. He picks up the ball off Will Nolte's chest as he's falling out of bounds. Has the presence to call a timeout. That will maintain the possession for Indian Hill. They have the ball. They have a 6-point lead. We have 2 minutes and 19 seconds to play.
That's right. That's just great heads-up thinking when you're in a situation like that to call timeout.
Phil Madden doesn't have a lot of points tonight, but he has very capably led this Braves offense, and he has been a regular floor general for the Braves when they've needed a calming presence tonight.
He certainly has.
Nolte looking to inbound. Deer Park with some pressure now. Gets the ball in the hands of 23, John Beatty. Beatty turns it over to Brown, and Nolte fouls Brown. That's going to be Nolte's 4th.
Foul is on number 42, Will Nolte.
And that will put Deer Park at the line, shooting the 1 and 1. That's equally damaging. Not only does it stop the clock, it only takes 3 seconds off the clock, and it sends Deer Park to the line. Brown's good on the first. Indian Hill leads 50 to 45, 2:14 to go, 4th quarter of this homecoming match between the Indian Hill Braves and the Deer Park Wildcats. Brown's good on both. We've got a 4-point game. Nolte inbounds to Beatty. More pressure from Deer Park. Beatty passes down low in the corner. Trap set up in the corner. Indian Hill attempts to dribble out of it.
Foul is on number 30.
And we have a foul against Deer Park.
Jared Armstrong.
That will send Indian Hill back to the line, shooting the 1 and 1. That will put Stephen Budding on the line.
1 and 1.
Budding shooting a 1 and 1. Budding makes the first, gives the Braves a 5-point lead. Budding waits on his second shot, dribbles, lines it up, shoots. He's perfect. And the Braves again lead by 6. Brandon Miller applying a little pressure, forcing the Wildcats to take a little time as they bring the ball up. Ball's in the hands of Mason. Mason nowhere to go with it. Mason trapped in the corner, passes to Brown. Brown turns it over. Ball in the hands of Nolte. Nolte to Madden. Madden facing some pressure, passes out to Miller. Miller dribbles through 3 defenders. Passes off to a cutting John Beatty. Number 23, John Beatty, lays in what may be the deciding basket. Braves now lead by 8 with a minute and a half to go. Number 22, Eric Ayers, picks up his dribbles, nowhere to go with it. And Ayers is fouled. Nolte wanted a travel. That'll put Ayers back in the line, shooting 1 and 1.
Brandon Miller, his 4th.
4 fouls now on Nolte and Miller.
Line, Eric Ayers. 1 and 1.
And as we predicted, this game's going to come down to free throws. Ayers lines up the first. He's good. The chant of scoreboard beginning to come out of the Braves fans. So a little rivalry going back and forth between the Deer Park fans and the Braves fanatics. Ayers good on both. We got a timeout on the floor called by Deer Park. Indian Hill leads 54-48. Minute 29 left to go in the fourth quarter.
And Nolte and Brandon both need to become a little more passive in their playing if they want to be able to finish out this ball game.
Yeah, you certainly would not want to see your two top offensive threats sitting on the sidelines in the final minute and a half of the game.
That's right.
Especially since both are shooting so well from the free throw line, and the Braves are already into the bonus, with Deer Park having committed 8 fouls. And we're back to action. Big Will Nolte set to inbound. Number 3, Maurice Brown on Nolte. Nolte gets the ball in the hands of Stephen Budding. Budding trapped out in the corner, dribbles right out of it, crosses half court, and is content to bring it back out, runs some clock as we're down to 1:20 to go, fourth quarter. Will Nolte drops in what will be the deciding basket as the Braves are back up 8 with a minute 12 to go. Deer Park has the ball. Ball's in the hands of Eric Ayers. Ayers passes off to Armstrong. Armstrong back to Ayers. Ayers in the corner. Clock winds down to 1 minute. Armstrong with the ball. Dribbles. Nowhere to go. Passes out to Ayers. Ayers for 3. No good. Rebound, Brandon Miller. Miller's foul. No call. Miller to Madden. Madden to Beatty. Beatty dribbles. Beatty with the shot. Did not need. But number 24, Stephen Budding with the putback. Indian Hill leads by 10. We've got 38 seconds to go. Another turnover. And Indian Hill is just playing with Deer Park at this point. We've just been informed that Deer Park Wildcats are in fact toast. Apparently they have been cooked lightly tonight as Indian Hill leads by 10 and is at the line shooting to number 32, Brandon Miller. We've got 32 seconds left to go.
And if you're Deer Park at this point, that was the worst thing that could happen, turning the ball over 2 consecutive times.
Deer Park with the ball back, trailing by 12, launches a desperation 3. Rebound Brown, nowhere to go with it, kicks back out, puts it in the hands of Will Nolte. Big Will Nolte leading the attack. And with 19 seconds to go and Indian Hill leading by 12, the game is no longer in question. All that's in question is the final score as the Indian Hill Braves fanatics begin to chant scoreboard, letting the Deer Park fans know that they have in fact been taken to school tonight. Miller makes his first free throw. The lead is 13. Will Nolte checks out. A monstrous performance by Will Nolte. It's a nice hand from the Braves fans. And the Just Like Football chant begins in the Indian Hill student section. Number 4, Jared Armstrong brings the ball across for Deer Park. Ball into Brown, clock winds to 12 seconds. Brown makes the bucket. Brown is fouled by new replacement number 41, Chris Pedersen. That'll put Brown on the line to try and cut into this 12-point Braves lead. Game's no longer in question. Indian Hill will defeat Deer Park, just like in football earlier this season, and in fact will improve to 11-6 on the season. Clock winds under 10 seconds to go as Stephen Budding dribbles across the timeline, passes down in the corner. Braves content simply to run clock. Clock is at 2 seconds to go. And ladies and gentlemen, for the 11th time this season, this one belongs to the Braves. I'll turn it over to Andrew Burgess as he'll take you home the rest of the way.
That's right. Executive coverage of tonight's game on the Indian Hill Television Network has been a copyrighted presentation of the Indian Hill High School Video Department in association with the ICRC. For our producer, Andrew Wheatwold, coordinating producer, Mrs. Dennis Dubbs, and our entire crew, I'm Andrew Burgess for Indian Hill, saying goodnight from our home gymnasium, where the final score is Braves 62, Wildcats, or otherwise known as Toast, 51. So long, everyone.
Our next inductee has perpetually been on the honor roll throughout high school. Along with scholastic activities, our next inductee has been extremely involved with the community. She was a camp counselor at Wise Center Day Camp, and she volunteered for Meals on Wheels and Back the Blue. Her list of hobbies and interests are quite long as well, but most notably, this candidate has been involved and excelled in piano lessons and competitions, dance, and ice skating. Future plans for this eclectic candidate include the pursuit of elementary education or possibly fashion design. So I'd like you all to join me in welcoming our next inductee, Alexis Bergman, to National Honor Society. One word comes to mind when thinking of our next inductee: steel. This candidate probably knows more about steel than anyone I've ever met or anyone that I'm going to meet in the future. He could probably tell you about the different grades of steel, the components of good steel, at what temperature steel melts, and he could probably even sell you a couple tons of Weirton steel if you're interested. Now, I've known this candidate for the past 3 years through his participation on the golf team, and I've gotten to know him even better over this past summer on our frequent journeys to distant golf courses. In playing golf with him and in talking to him, I've realized that the word steel describes much more than his excessive knowledge of the metal. It describes his personality. Even though he didn't always win on the golf course, his iron will to improve showed in his many hours of practice and his tireless striving for perfection. His motivation and energy have also shown in school, where he's a familiar face on the honor roll. Aside from school, this candidate played on the baseball team and played on the Mueller Crusaders intramural basketball team. Which brings up another point. He's extremely proud of his heritage and culture. This, of course, is evidenced in the name of his intramural team for the upcoming season, the Greek Mystique, and in his annual participation in the Panegyri Greek Festival. After high school, this candidate plans to attend college and major in business or pre-law, and then possibly to open his own business or continue on to law school. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome our newest inductee, Will Kladakis, to National Honor Society.
This next inductee is one of the people the National Honor Society is always looking to induct. Her welcoming smile and enthusiastic attitude have earned her many friends. Not only does she relate well to her peers, but she is also a good mentor for children. Her patience has enabled her to work as a tennis instructor for the past 2 summers. Her many activities are a tribute to her dedication to helping others and meeting new people. Not only did she devote one whole summer to volunteering at the Jewish Community Center, but she has also participated in SAD and Key Club. Her hard work ethic is evident as she not only excels in academics, but also athletics. She is a 4-year member of the lacrosse team and is always present early on Saturday mornings for the 2-hour trips up to Columbus to play 2 games. On top of all this, she manages to find time to travel and explore new opportunities. She attended a 3-week camp at Wellesley College in Boston, where she met teenagers from all over the world. She has also visited Italy and London and hopes to participate in a study abroad program while at college. Her future plans are to possibly become a successful businesswoman, but most of all, she just wants to stay happy. I'm sure she will not have any trouble making friends next fall when she attends Indiana University, and I wish her the best of luck. It is my pleasure to induct my good friend, Lauren Barclay.
the next inductee has ever asked you for a favor, perhaps you gave in to her wide, pleading brown eyes. Or maybe you did something less than mature, and she tilted her head down and raised her eyebrows, giving you a look that said, "Who are you, and what do you think you're doing?" But she never holds your moment of foolishness against you. I've seen her pleading look during color guard band camp, when suggesting we do some more crunches, one and one with the left hand again, or wear a bandana. And there is always a disapproving look when pretending to attack her with a sword. But she soon returns the threat. From swing dancing her freshman year to sword fighting in Never Never Land, she will never be forgotten as part of the color guard. This year you may see her face in Key Club or peer counseling. Possibly while buying school supplies or making copies, she was behind the cash register at Office Max. Along with these activities, she has been in Spanish Club and on the honor roll since freshman year. In the future, she plans to go to college and from there have an interesting job that will give her a chance to meet different people and travel. I wonder what the look on Michelle Mutu's face is now that she knows she will be the next inductee. Wherever there is singing, dancing, or a stage, this next inductee will be close by. She's been singing in ensemble since her freshman year. You may have seen her dancing on the stage in Powell's production of Merrily We Roll Along, or as a waitress in Hello Dolly. And this year she's part of the drama club. As a freshman in color guard, she could be seen swing dancing and a flag in hand. Sophomore year, she held flowers as she danced across the field, and this year she held either a clock, a sword, or a flag as she flew through the air and fought with the Lost Boys. Her love for dance doesn't stop at school. She is also a part of the jazz company, where she takes ballet, tap, and jazz. This dancer is also involved in her youth group and has been a camp counselor for the Girl Scouts. She can also be seen at peer counseling. In the future, she plans to attend college. Elizabeth Gottschalk, if you will please dance up to the stage to be inducted into the National Honor Society.
The following definitions may be of some use to our next inductee, courtesy of a skier's dictionary. Skier, one who pays an arm and a leg for the opportunity to break them. Traverse, to ski across a slope at an angle, one of two quick and simple methods of reducing speed. Tree, the other method. There are 206 in the human body. No need for dismay, however. The two bones of the middle ear have never been broken while skiing. And here's a few simple warm-ups to make sure you're prepared for the slopes. 1, tie a cinder block to each foot and climb a flight of stairs. 2, sit on the outside of a 4th-story window ledge with your skis on and your poles in your lap for at least a half an hour. 3, bind your legs together at the ankles, lie flat on the floor, then, holding a banana in each hand, try to get up. There's no doubt in my mind that this next inductee would rather be skiing. However, even when she's not on the slopes, she always has a beaming smile on her face and is always ready to offer an encouraging word, even though sometimes it's a little hard to figure out what she's saying because she talks so fast. This inductee has nothing but good feelings to offer Indian Hill and the rest of the world. Perhaps one day she may be seen competing in the ATP in tennis, the Olympics in downhill skiing, or maybe we'll see a documentary on her accomplishments in music. This girl has played the piano for 6 years and been concentrating on musical theory throughout her high school career. She was in band and competes in anything from local to statewide competitions. She's a peer counselor and a writer for Chieftain, and in the midst of all this, she still made time to be a co-founder of HFSF, time management at its best. But the list doesn't end here. As an avid skier and tennis player, she may be an athlete at heart, but she also may be a joker, a dog lover, or a Spanish scholar. Still, no matter what, this inductee leaves no doubt in our minds that she will bring a little of her excellence to our lives in the future. From the summer of 1995 at Indian Hill Swim Club, where I was consistently reminded of her happy-go-lucky nature, to watching her gracefully pace the aisles of Indian Hill High School, this inductee has continued to remind me to keep a smile on my face and a laugh in my heart. Congratulations, Courtney Metz. About 13 years ago, a star was born. The downtown streets of Chicago bustled with passers-by, but not many could pass by this inductee. He was the 3-year-old breakdancer, the kid cutting a rug in front of the starving artist street musicians. He drew crowds, one day to the point that the performing minstrels offered him part of the daily earnings. He was born for the spotlight, and he hasn't lost it yet. He performed in Powwow last year and continues to provide light to the lives of his friends as a peer counselor. He's played on the lacrosse team throughout his high school career, and his sophomore year served as the team's manager. You can also find his name repeatedly on the honor roll. The list only begins. This inductee has expanded his horizons this year. He graces Chieftain with his hilarious antics and Model UN with his somewhat lacking impressions of Arabs. This inductee really has no trouble making an impression. Taking up a considerable spot in this inductee's life is his dedication to education. Not his education, mind you, he works hard enough at that, but tutoring, mostly younger children. He helps to educate them not only in school, but also in the ways of the world, and it takes a pretty cool adolescent to be able to understand those. He's a camp counselor, a soccer referee, and a representative to the Cincinnati Anti-Drug Coalition. Needless to say, he won't have any trouble finding a place in which to make his mark, whether it be the streets of Chicago or the ski slopes of Aspen. Still, his options are unlimited. He claims he wants to go to college, then spend some time bumming around Colorado or Europe. Personally, I think this inductee will have a hard time bumming at anything. Every time I talk to him, he says something hilarious. He has this enigmatic draw to him, a sort of magnetic funniness tractor beam. It's unavoidable, but it's wonderful. This inductee brings light to everyone's day. He smiles, cracks a joke, or simply giggles and makes your day a little better. These kinds of people are few and far between, and with that in mind, I present our newest inductee. Congratulations, Brian McDonnell. And now I'd like to welcome Annie Skank and Laura Shea to induct the Honorary Teacher of the Year.
What are the 2 things that every college-bound senior wishes that they could pack up and take to college with them?
You can't find them at the bookstore, organized living, or even linens, etc.
You can, however, find both of them roaming the hallways of Indian Hill High School.
They've been such an essential part of our high school that we've almost begun to take them for granted.
However, now that we realize it's about time to leave them, we're all scared to death.
These 2 ladies are truly remarkable and deserve to join the other honor teachers up on this stage.
We made sure that there were 2 seats available because without a doubt, they're a package deal.
When you think about it, their similarities are quite uncanny.
One lives on North Clippinger, the other on South.
They each have a husband and one wonderful daughter who is the center of their worlds.
Yet they find time to look out for and tutor about 600 others. And both enjoy physical activities. One attends jazzercise regularly, and the other enjoys canoeing.
Actually, it might come as a surprise to you that one of these ladies taught biology at Anderson High School before her time here.
And the other one actually taught English here at IH for years until she had to move away from Cincinnati. When she returned, though, she found her true calling in the library.
Now that they are here, the story is history. Every day, while the hours grow long and the problems grow old, they never cease to offer a friendly smile and a helping hand.
These 2 ladies do not stop after pulling a book or finding an article. They give you money when you're desperate, offer you candy on those stressful days, and even give advice when you need it. They clearly go above and beyond the call of duty.
These are just some of the reasons why these 2 women have earned the respect and admiration of the entire student body and staff of Indian Hill High School.
They are, like their Halloween M&M costumes, the perfect package, and not to mention incredibly sweet. Indian Hill is truly lucky to have them.
It is our honor to welcome Mrs. Oliver
and Mrs. Cole into National Honor Society.
faculty, and guests,
I'll make the announcement.
I thank you on behalf of the NHS members for attending this ceremony today. The parents and all members are now invited to join us in the reception in the library prepared for us by the PTO. Thank you.
Thank you all for being such a wonderful crowd today and for welcoming all of the new members. We have a few minutes left until it's lunchtime, and so would everyone please report to their MP until we break for lunch. Thank you.